The Khazars were a semi-nomadic people who, in the late 6th century CE, established an empire covering the southeastern section of modern European Russia, southern Ukraine, Crimea, and Kazakhstan. Sometime around the year 740 CE, the king and the ruling class, followed by members of the general population, decided to convert to Judaism. The kingdom of Khazaria long served as a buffer between the Christian Byzantine Empire and the Islamic Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. Not much is known about their early origins, and much of their history, including their decline, is shrouded in mystery. The initial attempt by Hasdai failed, since the Byzantines, who feared a direct alliance between Spain and the Khazars, held up Hasdai's emissary on the pretext that the roads were not safe. But Hasdai persevered. He sent a new emissary and was eventually able to make contact. In his return letter, King Joseph replied to Hasdai's questions regarding the history of the Khazars and which tribe they were from. King Joseph explained that his ancestor, King Bulan, decided to give up his pagan beliefs in order to accept one of the three leading faiths, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. King Bulan then arranged for representatives of each of the three faiths to participate in a debate in his presence. On the third day, he called all the sages together and said to them, "Speak and argue with one another and clarify which is the best religion." They began to dispute with one another without arriving at any results until the king said to the Christian priest, "What do you think of the religion of the Jews and the Muslims, which is to be preferred?" The priest answered, "The religion of the Israelites is better than that of the Muslims." The king then asked the Imam, "What do you say? Is the religion of the Israelites or that of the Christians preferable?" The Imam answered, "The religion of the Israelites is preferable." Upon this, the king said, "If this is so, you both have admitted with your own mouths that the religion of the Israelites is better. Therefore, trusting in the mercies of GD and the power of the Almighty, I choose the religion of Israel, that is, the religion of Abraham." King Joseph then described how, after King Bulan accepted Judaism, a descendant of his, King Obadiah, reorganized the kingdom and established the Jewish religion properly and correctly. He built synagogues and yeshivot, brought in Jewish scholars, and rewarded them with gold and silver. The Jewish scholars could have come from Baghdad and Constantinople. They explained to him the Bible, Mishnah, Talmud, and the order of divine services. Although the Khazar king, noblemen, and part of the population did indeed convert, it seems as though much of the population never embraced Judaism. Just a few years after Hasdai's correspondence with the Khazars, the Russian and Byzantine rulers combined forces to destroy the kingdom of the Khazars. They devastated their land, including their capital of Artil, around 968 to 969. Although the Khazars continued to play an important role in that part of the world for another century, their fortunes eventually waned and they faded into oblivion. Rabbi Abraham ben David, also known as Abraham ibn Dodd, who lived from around 1110 to 1180, writes in his Sefer Kabbalah, or Book of Traditions, about the letter King Joseph sent to Hasdai ibn Shaprut. The letter informed him that he and his people followed the rabbinical faith. Rabbi Abraham ben David adds that even after the decline of the Khazars, some of their descendants came to Toledo, Spain, to learn Torah. In 1999, a large Viking treasure was discovered on a farm in Sweden. Known as the Spillings Hoard, this treasure included Islamic, Nordic, and Persian coins. One of the most noted coins in the hoard, dated to around 800, is from the Khazar kingdom and is referred to as the Moses coin. The coin is inscribed with the words, "Moses is the messenger of God," in contrast to the usual Muslim text, "Muhammad is the messenger of God."